Yo, what's happening? Happy Saturday night to you. We are in effect and in the house. Mr. Harrison Danger is with us, hanging out today for part of it, right? For part of it.
Because yesterday I did not like ones when people come on and...
I know, you're not a big fan of having stream guests on because you don't get to sit and hang out.
And talk to us.
What did you do today?
Have pizza for lunch.
I had pizza for lunch, man. That's like the most important thing that you could talk about is having pizza for lunch. So today, Matt Yackey and I, we did a signing up at Kapow Comics. Got to meet some really cool people.
And also one thing.
What's that?
Sponsored by Honey Nut Cheerios.
You kids are crazy.
This video is not brought to them by.
I remember when I was a little kid, we had cereal for snacks too. I can't do that now. There's way too much sugar, too much crap in there. Happy Saturday night to you guys. We are on our way to 2,000 subscribers. It's
I want to have something
very
weird.
exciting. Tell them.
I'm sure I did.
You're weird, dude. You're gonna be going to bed soon, yeah?
I'm gonna stay here for the whole video.
The whole video. All right, but then you gotta be chill. You can't be getting crazy.
I like being funny, Dad.
You are funny. You are funny. So today we got to sign He-Man and the Masters in the Multiverse. Got to meet.
It's not multiverse.
Got to meet some.
Universe, not
No,
multiverse.
it's multiverse. This time it is multiverse. That's the thing that's different about this book is that it's the multiverse. Today, what's up, Ben L? What's up, Skits Comic? Nin Nalos. Oh, Sugar Rush. Yeah, I miss those days, but I can't do that anymore.
Hey.
What's up?
Guys,
They're right there. You
Yeah.
talk to them over there.
if you're watching the show, make sure to do this.
What did I say? What did I say, man? I said no nonsense. You want to be in here or I'm going to kick you out? Right? I know. What's up, Leg Kick? What did you think of He-Man? What happened, bud? Oh yeah, his name is Leg Kick. He's playing it out. I'd love to know what you thought if you had a chance to flip through it. A little bit of I don't want to call it sad news because I love when Christmas gets moved, but Kyle Holtz had to back out of tonight's show. He had some work conflict stuff where he had to take care of some of his stuff and was kind enough to give us advance notice. So he will be on a future episode once things get straightened out. What's going on with you, dude?
Eating chicken mayo in my cereal.
Yeah. Whoa, careful now.
I'm good. Fine.
Careful now. So I met this kid at Kapow, and he showed me his portfolio, and it was interesting to see to do a portfolio review. It'd been so long since I'd really looked at one. A lot of times people don't bring those to shows anymore. Or signings. A lot of people usually show their work online and try to get work that way. So to meet someone and look at their stuff in person was a lot of fun.
Hey, Dad.
Yes, son.
Just wondering what that kid did. You were thinking to get me a present, and you let the kid choose which one.
Different kid. This is a different kid.
Oh.
What did you get from the comic store today?
Alright, you DS, I want to show that.
You talk so fast. I understand you because I live with you, but that's crazy talk.
And then like 2, normal action, right to DX, and then Liverpool!
Yeah, Nin Nalos or Nalus says, I'm going to have to take you for a walk to wind you down.
Me?
Yeah, you need to chill out, man, or you're going to get walked out. What up, Martyr Media? Went to a show today, got to pick up Revenge of the Sinister Six.
I'm going to get all my energy
And see, Brian still freeze. Man, that's cool. Brian's a cool cat.
Ow, screw.
There's a screw down there. That's your sister's fault. Put it up on the desk. Oh, man. I saw some Cyber Frog shoes, including your cover, but it was a little pricey. How much was it? I don't even know what one of those goes for. I haven't had a copy. No, don't put that screw in the trash. I literally said put it on the desk. That goes to your sister's light guard.
I'm going to show them something. The new fidget cube. It looks like a Rubik's Cube in a fidget.
It's not new, buddy. This came out...
in 1988.
It was not 1988. I know that seems like forever for you. You know. You're a madman. You're a madman. So let's talk Frega Boombox today. Since I don't have a guest today except for this guy here, I want to open up the Frega Boombox to some questions. If you guys have any questions regarding create.
Might be the guest if it's not someone coming on the computer.
What's up, Patrick? How are you, man?
Patrick Stars?
Not Patrick Star, Patrick Ty.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about Patrick from SpongeBob SquarePants.
No, I'm not. But today it's like Q&A. So if you guys have questions, especially about working in the entertainment field or the path of creativity, I like answering those questions a lot. It helps me think about things. It makes me, when I have to answer them, it actually refreshes my brain, and it's something I like to do. It's one of the reasons I like to mess around with the Rubik's Cube and do freestyle rap. Let's see. Kevlar says, what's up, Dan and dudes? So what's with the new rules? Is this labeled a kid show and I shouldn't curse? No, this isn't a kid's show. In fact, this stream is not for kids. There is a kid here. He is not a celebrity or a model. He is my kid, and I give him permission to be in this video.
And one thing.
What?
I'm a model.
You're not a model, dude.
I model these clothes.
All right. Is there such thing as too many pouches? Man in Lunacy. I don't think so. And the reason I say that is, completely honest, Rob Liefeld has a character called the Pouch who is made out of pouches, and you would think that would be ridiculous, but it actually looks really cool. I think somebody needs a pouch suit. I think pouches are awesome. You always want to know what's in them. You know, when I was a kid, Thundercats was brand new. And
cool.
Yeah, and Wily Cat and Wily Kid always had those little pellets that would do things like smoke and you know, weapons out of thin air and stuff like that. So I think pouches are awesome. We got a question from Nin. Is Gervais a comic fan? I don't know. This is one of the sad facts about working on the Ricky Gervais show for 2 years and being at the director's helm for all 26 episodes. I only spoke with the man twice. Once on episode 1 of season 2 and once again on episode 1 of season 3. And it wasn't even like a coach conversation, like an attaboy. It was more of a, we had characters that were in the episode with likenesses like Tom Cruise and Rebecca De Mornay and Clive Owen, where we had to be very judicious in the way we shot it, how we shot it, or animated it, and we were on the phone together. The problem solved both times, so we were under the capacity of solving a problem. Every other time was just through emails, like if you had any adjustments or notes. Let's see here. There's always a mystery about pouches. That's right. I've been on jobs where I needed fisherman's vest, which is nothing but pouches. Amen. That's right. Mr. Milton, our one of our admins, has a birthday tomorrow. He's still a baby, Mr. Milton. Happy early birthday to you. If I can't say it to you at midnight. I always enjoy your streams. I'm learning something new all the time. Patrick, that's the point, man. That's exactly the point of the stream. Is it does say Hey Kids Comics. is to illuminate things that may have not been obvious. And a lot of times, the things that I learn that have helped me along the way, like tool sets that I've used in the creation of comics or in storyboards or writing or anything like that, a lot of the time they're simple fixes or simple mindsets that once you apply them, it takes a lot of stress out, a lot of the uncertainty, because that's what we face as artists a lot of the time, and sometimes how we turn into procrastinators or get afraid of the page. You know, I used to be quote unquote afraid of the page. It was sort of like a...
Let's get to the word of the day.
We don't have a word of the day. This isn't Sesame Street.
Remember the word of the day when you get draw?
Oh, you mean that? That was a Inktober thing. That was an Inktober thing, buddy. But the fear of the page is a lot like stage fright, except it exists in a different place, at least for me, which was the second you go... Hey, you're not Cookie Monster, man. Chill out. The second you would go to the page, you were instantly... It's like when you drive a brand new car off the lot, it depreciates. The second you start that page that's in your mind, this is the psychosis of page fright. You are no longer have that ideal. You're compromising it by not doing it as well as what's in your head. So that would create page fright. Yes, son.
I have a new thing.
What's your new thing? What's up? What is it? Talk about comics? That's what we're talking about right now.
Like, maybe we can have, like, a comic of the day, feature people.
Oh, a comic of the day. Okay, possibly. But I'm talking to them about page fright. So one of the things that I tried to do, again, this is, you know, in my old age now doing, you know, working as a professional creative person for, what is that? That's Groot. For 28 years now, there's been a lot of ups and downs, ebb and flow, as far as, you know, those sort of things, and also there's new things to learn about, like, you know, taking on too much, or you know, one of the things I wish they would teach us. Hey, chill out, please. One of the things I wish they would teach early on, because comics, especially when, like, I broke in at 18. I didn't know anything about finances. I didn't know anything about freelance life. And especially one of the things people can learn about freelance life is when it rains, it pours, and when it's dry, it's dry. And, you know, a lot of the times when you make a good rate, you can't calculate that over 12. You can't say, oh, that's 12 months or whatever, because there are times, like working in TV, there are 2 or 3 months where there's nothing at all going on. So you have to, you know, put some aside, sort of squirrel it away for winter, as they say.
Mom,
Let's see. Let's go to the Fregaboom box and see what was happening. Marta Media says, I have notes and voice memos of disparate ideas. I've considered developing a story around them, incorporating them all, like stringing together riffs or beats. What are my thoughts? I think that's great, man. I think... What, buddy?
I have a question.
You're interrupting, though.
I have a question, though.
What?
How does this camera connect to that camera so we can watch this camera on that phone? You know, it should be.
This is my switcher right here.
Oh.
So this picks all of our angles. So if I wanted a different angle, like if I wanted you, right here, this is you. I would pick that angle, and you'll see on here that it'll show you. So go ahead and watch this. But I'm going to answer Martyr Media's question, okay? I think having those ideas and thoughts and notes is great, and stringing together like beats is great, and using your analogy, a lot of the stuff that we do with beats. Harrison, please be careful, son. That's plugged in to that camera. Son, please hop off. That's plugged in to that camera, and if that pulls, that's going to pull everything over, okay? All right, bud? All right. I was trying to answer a question, dude. All right. See ya. Love you. He's being silly. Anyway, using the music analogy, we take different instruments and different beats and loops or however you compose your music, and you put it together in something cohesive called a song, and it's called a composition. So I think one of the things you can do is take all those notes, organize them into at least an outline, and work from that. I did not work from an outline when I did The Grave. The Grave was something I had in my head, and the pitfall that I kind of faced with The Grave is, in my mind when I started, I thought I have 300. Careful down there, bud. Don't pull on that.
You found me.
Yeah, I did find you. I thought I had 365 chances to tell something compelling and be like a cliffhanger to bring you to the next one. But I found right around August that I grossly miscalculated how many frames I needed, and I ended up what I call running out of runway. So I had to start telling some of these story ideas that I had that I wanted to expand upon very quickly, and I had to change the way in which I told them, sometimes with which subject was telling them. I had to cut some of the ties that with connective tissue that would have taken us into interesting places. And I feel like if I had an outline and I mapped out that outline in a proper way, that the storytelling would have been slightly better. So those are my thoughts on that question.
And
today's word is hyperactivity.
true.
No, that's what someone said. I started sketching on Bristolboard to get over the fear of the page. I used to get hung up on how expensive they were compared to regular paper. Right. Sometimes just starting is all it takes.
Today is backwards day for hair.
Fragapow in the house. Chris Arnecki in the house. Rooster Puncher, what's up?
I'm Fragapow.
What's up, Captain Hill? It's Q&A time with Dan. Throw out your questions.
Puncher.
Kid looks like a clone of Dan. Hello, Dan and little dude, says Matt Cisco.
I'm not little dude.
What's your name?
Fragapow.
Fragapow. You gotta tell them. You don't tell me.
My name is Fragapow.
That's a little crazy and a little hyped up. Hey, you had Frosted Flakes and you had
Not Cheerios.
Honey Nut Cheerios. That's a bit of sugar in your system. Anyhow, that is correct.
You know,
Mim is
I'm
correct.
always crazy.
It is Q&A time, and then what I'll do is jump into some drawing and stuff. And I have to kick you out when I go to drawing. I have to kick you out. Okay? Unless you want to hang out and watch.
You said drawing is only for Inktober.
No. I still draw. I said word of the day was Inktober because they had these things called prompts. So they would have a word and we would go for it. But now I'm showing people different methods of coming up with ideas. Like there's the idea of showing them how we can do storytelling. There's the idea of how you design a page. So there's certain action of a page that you have, but sometimes you want to give certain bits more emphasis to both make this story more interesting, but also make the artwork itself more interesting on a graphic level. Because we were talking today at the comic shop, Yaki, a customer of the shop who came in to get their book signed, and somebody had said, I haven't read it. A lot of times I just flip through and look at the art and I get to the reading another time. That's a big factor because I know I'm the same way. I'll flip through a bunch of books that I have the intention of reading, but I want to see that art. And my mission when I do my stuff is I'm trying to have impact even at that level. But you also want, don't touch any of those, bud. You also want that when someone reads the story, that those moments also work in a narrative context in a way that is most effective. So never having one compromise the other. And that's an art unto itself, because it'd be very easy for me to draw the what's up?
Remember when you said there could be two people? I figure meaning like
No, that is, but we're not doing that. We're not doing a chat today. Unless, I don't know how to paste it. That's the only problem.
I have an idea.
What?
Maybe I could go in a different room with a kid and then we could chat from different rooms.
With no nonsense. I'm going to take a look here at the Frega Boombox. Let's see what it says. Maybe Harrison started drawing and you finish it. Haha. Don't press any buttons on that. That'll screw up the...
That.
Don't press that. I'm about to read something. What son?
What is that?
They'll see in a minute. That's when your sister and I saw snow. Okay? And we'll show them that. Because I did a cool pivot move that made it look like a gimbal move, but it was just with my waist. Do you read a lot of stuff outside the superhero genre, like Fantagraphics or drawn in quarterly books? Martyr, I don't read a lot of comics. I mean, there's I read Ed Piskor's stuff. I read Tim Seeley's stuff. I read Mr. Miracle. Dude, don't mess with this one. This is the controller, okay? I read the Mitch Gerard, Tom King, Mr. Miracle. But most of my reading comes in the form of audiobooks, sadly. And the problem, and this is like one of the topics I talk about a lot, is compression of time, multitasking during things. So I can't read and draw because my eyes have to be on something, and I can't write and draw unless I'm writing with pictures. But I can listen to audiobooks while I work. So I try to absorb as many of those as possible. And a lot of the audiobooks that I enjoy aren't even fiction. They have to do with social economics. I'm a big fan of books like Malcolm Gladwell's Tipping Point, The Outliers, and all the advancements of those books like Contagious and Why Things Stick, where it talks about how certain ideas...
The other opposite side.
No, we're fine, bud. You're playing with your eyes? It's because it's not a mirror. That's what it looks like from over there. A mirror is not what you look like. A mirror is a backwards image of what you look like. So it's not going to match up. Weird stuff. But anyhow, a lot of the books that I have, listen to the Master Key System. I'm listening to something called Own Your Day, Own Your Life. Those sort of things, because I'm on my way to 50. I'm 46, but I can feel changes in my body that weren't there before, and just sort of how things occur, and knowing that now's the time to get right. So I feel you're kind of a wolf boy. I fill my head with those sort of things. Captain Hills asks, Dan, where do you see comic industry in 10 years? Do you think more mainstream artists will independently campaign? Where do you see the mainstream companies? That's a fantastic question. 10 years is a long time, and it's hard to see, because 2009, I wasn't even in comics. I wasn't buying comics. I was completely entrenched in working as a storyboard artist and starting my directing career. And if I think about the changes, at least from when I was working, the last time I was in comics was 2002, things have changed, big companies own DC, big company owns Marvel. There's really kind of weird politics happening. There's
That's
also
weird.
Okay, don't mess with that, bud. There's a change in the guard happening. There's different people making decisions at the big companies. So I think your instinct of saying that more creators, I'm not even saying mainstream, because what will the idea of mainstream be? I think if fans want comics, they're going to find those comics. Don't press any buttons, please. Okay? Do you hear me? Okay, thank you. I feel like that the marketplace is definitely going to change. Fans will gravitate and support what they like. They know 100% that the thing they're backing and supporting is something that's pretty much they're part of, like as a fan of the X-Men, as a kid, you didn't know, were you getting Mark Silvestri, were you getting a fill-in by Rick Leonardi, were you getting whatever, and there's sort of a uncertainty, whereas when you support a creator, you're kind of buying in on that team, that concept, that whole thing as a whole, and I'm finding a lot of people enjoy that. So I feel like the changes are coming, but as far as seeing where things will be in 10 years, I don't know, because historically, all of the golden treasures of the big two companies that create things like TV shows and movies, the source material had to be created by somebody, and those people crafted things that could be turned into different media. Now there doesn't seem to be any sort of new ground being made. It's just sort of playing in that playground of ideas, whereas new creator ideas, they're creating new universes, and you're kind of signing up for that. But anyhow, who knows, in 10 years, maybe there'll be a resurgence. Maybe they'll figure out a way to make things work better. I don't know.
Maybe in 2 million years, stuff will work very, very better, and technology will be great in the future.
Hold on, these went pretty quick. Hold on. Yes, I have a copy of He-Man. One next to me, haven't read it yet, but flip through, looks nice. Thank you. How many panels do you recommend per page? Asked Patrick. As many as it takes to tell the story in a way that you intend. So, recently saw this Tom King post with some decompressed storytelling.
I want to show them the snow video.
Okay, I want to show you the snow video. You want to press it, bud? There we go. This is what it looked like in the hills or in the mountains of Tennessee, going over the hill, and I thought the vista was beautiful, so I did a little pan so you could see what the place looked like. So that was it. Okay, you good, bud? You got to show it to him.
Anyways, I want to read my book.
Okay. So anyhow, the answer to how many panels do I recommend is however many it takes to tell the story in the way you want to tell it. Harrison, can you close that door? Okay. I'm a big fan of double page spreads. No, don't plug that in. It's too close. Yeah, please don't do that. Then pull the heater out away from the books. Okay? Pull them out. Good job. Little more. Now plug it in. Okay? Sound good? Be careful too. Plug it straight in. I'm a big fan of double page spreads. I'm also a big fan of The Dark Knight. When you look at his layouts, he's basing everything on a 16 panel grid, and he never deviates from the use of the unit of the 16. Sometimes he'll take 2 from the 16 and make 1 panel, but he always stayed on that grid the whole time. And it's an interesting prospect to have those limits, and it maybe forces your storytelling to do things you may not necessarily have done. But the stuff, dude, if that gets hot, you're gonna burn yourself, so be careful. Okay. Pointing at us, so okay, good. I feel like Tim Seeley, working with him on He-Man, on average it was 5 to 6 panels. I felt like that was a good sweet spot if you're gonna rely on something. But I'm of the mind, especially once I start laying out Black Flag, that if I want moments to feel big and expansive, I'll make it a splash page or a double page splash with inset panels. Or if I want it to feel tight and claustrophobic, I might do a 16 panel page. It really just depends on the context of your storytelling. Yes, I have to break up my writing and drawing days. Did you listen to Neil Adams narrate Batman vs. Elmer Fudd? Not yet. I want to. I'm sure it is good. How many iPads do you have connected at once? Because the stream is stuttering again. Not much, and I don't know why it's stuttering. There isn't a good reason why it should be stuttering, because these are on a dedicated network. So it might be Switcher, and I need to talk to them because I've done everything that they asked. How many pages per scene? Again, it depends on the scene, right? Like, sometimes a scene could be 4 panels, and it could be, a guy sorry, let's first give a definition of what I'm saying a scene is, because everybody has a different idea of what a scene is. A scene, dude, you can burn yourself. Please don't touch that. Okay?
I just watch it right here.
You can watch it from there if you want. That's like a director, but don't touch that. You will burn yourself. Okay? A scene, as it's defined, working in animation is different than a scene when working in live action. And in live action, that's how I'm going to refer to it. It's anytime you change location or time. So if if we're now talking about 5 minutes ago, that break, even though we're here, is a new scene. Or if I go outside to show the exterior of my house and then cut inside, the exterior is one scene, cutting in here is another scene. But a different angle within the same scene is just a new angle.
Dad?
So as far as your question about how many pages per scene, a scene could be 4 panels. It could be one of those things where it's like a quick thing, seeing a guy plant a bomb, on a car, and then you cut back to the other person, then an explosion. Well, that's 1 scene, 2 scene, 3 scene. So it all depends on the complexity of each of the story points.
Dad?
Yes, son. I got something in my eye that's itching it like crazy. What's up? What's your question?
Why do you say, like, Rooster Punching is in the house like
Because
that?
he's in the house. He's at this chat room. It's called the Frega Boom Box, and it's like because it's a box over here, and they're listening to us. So when I
Why
say
do you
Rooster's
say-
in the house, because he's there.
But I don't get it in the house.
Oh, okay. It's a saying, son. It's a saying. Here, let me take this one off the network and see if that helps. Let's see. Hopefully this will help out. And maybe, I don't know if it's my connection, because again, I'm paying for the fastest they make. And it's later at night, so there shouldn't be as many people using it. Okay. All right. So, well, it's weird because StreamYard doesn't do the stutter, whereas Switcher does. So there's definitely a problem with that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. Let's see. Other question. The stream is stuttering for me too. Did you interact with Carl Pilkington on? No. I never got to talk to Carl. I wish I did. I wanted to. Because he's funny. I've been trying to help Dan troubleshoot, but it's an ongoing process. Absolutely is. What's up, Star? Man, something is in my eye and causing it to itch. I don't know what it is. The mic is in that phone, I'm assuming, because the audio is all over the place. Yeah, it's right here. It's in this phone. Otherwise, I'd have to have the lavalier mic. And anyhow, we're all learning. My style is heavily influenced by Jeff Darrow. Seth Fisher, obviously not as good. I was wondering if you think that a Lion Claire style book with no spotted blacks would be a bad idea with no color. That's again entirely up to you. You know, if I look at someone like Darrow or Jean Girard or Claire Wendling, depending on which style she chooses, or Keith Giffen when he was doing that Trencher story that he did in the 90s. Some of those examples I gave were color, but when you think of Mobius, like 40 Days in the Desert, that stuff looked great. Or you think about Jeff Darrow. Excuse me. I've seen a lot of his stuff, and it looks good. I think if the subject matter, the composition, and the story are good, it has fighting odds. Am I lagging or is it him? It's lagging a bit. This feed seems okay now. It was just that video. Spoke too soon. Sounds like time to switcher. Yeah, exactly. Depends on what you're trying to achieve in that scene. I heard an effective scene defined as something that pushes a character arc or the plot. Yeah, so there's this guy named Robert McKee, and he does he has a book called Story, and he has a 2-day seminar, 16-hour seminar on story, and I went to it maybe 10 years ago, and the big takeaway that I saw is that you never end your scene with the way that you started your scene. That otherwise it's status quo, right? Like if everybody's happy in the beginning of the scene and they're happy at the end, what happened really? There's no change. So the idea of change is what you want to have happen. It could be with a character, it could be with the arc, but it's almost like a volley of a tennis match. Somebody says something, something affects that other person, they turn it. That's the scene ends with something. So it basically pulls the reader, the viewer, the listener into, oh, if that happened, what's happening next? That's what you always want to have them ask. What's next? What's next? What's next? You want to pull them, and you have to have that thing of like, you know, there are different devices. There's things called a rug pull. You know, a rug pull is where you think something's happening, and all of a sudden you're like the rug has been pulled out from under you, and that's a surprise. It could be that somebody's having a good day. By the end of the scene, they're having a shit day, and then the next one, they're having a shit day, and then the things get picked up, and they can't believe how good it is. So you have this swing that happens. My daughter's yelling up there. Let's see. Poor kid thinks I'm literally in the house and I'm dying laughing. Dad, what do you mean by rooster punchers in the house? But what do you mean by that? Yeah. Mike Green just saw I fell today. Maybe he could get Rob to join us. Yeah, I'm gonna work on Rob too. You have to utilize negative states with that kind of stuff. Yes, I'm sitting here watching the stream and forgot to chime in. What's up? What's up, Atomic Rex? How are you, man? The story audiobook was great. I took notes. Yeah, the one thing about story, though, is definitely take it, learn from it, but don't make it dogmatic. Don't say, this must be this way. It must be 3 acts. It must have this. This must happen at 20 minutes. This must happen, and so forth. That formulaically it works, but what ends up happening is we get a lot of stories and a lot of stuff that feels familiar. Familiarity could be good, like I've talked about the Maya principle, most acceptable yet advanced. People need to have something familiar to warm up to something. When something is so foreign, that's why a lot of times popular music is used on advertisements. Popular music is used in, like, think about Guardians of the Galaxy. Those of you who have seen it, and I'm assuming most of you have. Think about Guardians of the Galaxy when Star-Lord puts in that tape cassette and presses play, and you hear a song that reminds me of my youth, or a summer barbecue or whatever, and he's, singing and dancing and doing all that fun stuff. That soundtrack made you like him more because he listens to music that you like. These are all subconscious things, these are all things, and these are the things I'm reading about in these books that I've been talking about. Contagious, Made to Stick, why things catch on. I read all these books regarding that, and that right there is what they call a trigger. We hear the word triggering a lot, but there are a lot of things called triggers, and familiarity is one of them. So the familiarity of a structure that is provided to you by McKee can be useful, but it's always fun to break those ideas. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Zombieland. It's an old enough movie that I can say something spoilery, and hopefully you guys won't be mad. But how about this? The whole Bill Murray bit caught me off guard. That way I'm not spoiling anything. The whole Bill Murray bit caught me off guard, and I liked it. Let's see what else. I didn't get notified. Jason, I don't know what's going on with notifications. It's weird. Sometimes it's hit or miss, which is, it is what it is. I don't have any go-to method as user writer, but multiple drafts will help you with working and pacing kinks. Absolutely. Story is great, but you have to ingest it like anything else you see that works for you and what doesn't. Exactly, like G. Kundo. I want to know if there's a way to do surveys in YouTube, or at least a poll of some sorts, because I'm noticing, like, format-wise, we have different formats of this show, which, again, we're working out and hopefully unveiling a whole new, improved, betterfied version January 1st. So all of this stuff, just consider all of this a beta test. Do you guys prefer when we have interviews? Do you prefer this sort of chilling on the couch, sitting, talking to you thing? Or is, like last night was a lot of fun, where just a bunch of us get into a room and chit-chat? I definitely want to know. You could either leave it in the comments in the chat room or in the comments what kind of stuff you guys are preferring, what you'd like to see more of, what you'd like to see less of. I am asking for your feedback because I want to make this show the best it can be. I personally enjoy having guests on. I like being able to talk with you. The interaction, like I said, helps me learn, helps me hone in and try to be better at what I do, not just on a drawing level, but an understanding of things, because sometimes we get caught up in misassumptions. I personally like to draw 90s style comics. That's what I like to do, and maybe I know when I was a kid and I liked 90s, early 90s, late 80s artists, mid to late 80s artists, and I would see stuff from the 70s and think it was sort of dated looking. Now I love this stuff, but if my stuff is dated, it is. Oh well. Let's see here. Focus on getting solid page turns, and it doesn't matter how long your scenes are, Patrick. That's great advice. Yo, Dan, could you educate me on storyboarding? Do you get hired because of your ability to visualize things and draw it out? No name. Okay. Being a storyboard artist is multifaceted, and they require different skills depending on the task, because yes, we visualize, we draw, but we also have to have an understanding, depending on what the project is, what your storyboards are being used for. So for example, if your storyboards are for a commercial, they may be to communicate to the client or the agency what the director's plans are, and they can have talking points based on those. So you want to kind of accommodate a certain situation and make your boards a certain way if that is what they're utilizing. Sometimes they're used to budget a special effects scene. Sometimes they're used to show a stunt crew where the camera angles are, so their choreography is suited to the preferred angles of the director. In animation, they're used to really like plan out what you see in boards is what the thing is, and they're used as a completely different tool. They're used as the template in which the animators work from, and then that it's a whole different thing. And different directors want different things. I've had directors that want to sit behind me and essentially hold my hand and tell me, draw this, draw this, draw this. There are some that have it in their head and they dictate out to you what they want, but you have to have an understanding also of all of that vocabulary that they're talking in. When they're talking in cinematic grammar and they tell you they want a medium cowboy that dollies left, that pushes into an extreme close-up, you need to understand how to block all of those things in your head in 3D space, what that camera moves, what drawings represent those camera moves. Then there are some directors that want you to interpret the script. You get a location picture, you get some character designs, and you get some other reference, and you're given the script, and you have to visualize it. And then they work from there. So it really depends on your situation, but those are all situations that have happened to me. And so that's the best I can do to answer your question. I apologize if it's too crazy, but if you want to get into some more specifics, I'd be happy to answer any specific questions. Writing to me, streampoll.com, I believe. I have my own comic book friends that read my work, and if they like, I tend to feel better about my story. That's true. Writing to me is like music beats or how I feel when I'm writing. Some stories are punk, others are pop, some are metal. Probably only makes sense for me. But you know what? Sometimes that's all it takes, Like talking, one of the things that was illuminating for me when we had Art to Bear on the show, and I said to him, man, I really respond to your inks because they had this bounce and this sort of bloop. We called them bloops. And, what was your philosophy? And his answer was he was trying to ink like Barry Windsor Smith. And I never put those things together. Now that he said it, I can see it. But that was where his head was at. So only he really knew it. And, so if it works, man. Anything that steers your ship, or you can have a true north. If your true north is to say this is a punk rock story, then that is your true north. And if that's what it takes, then use it. I say use whatever you can. Let's see. I like the mix. I feel the schedule is decent. Tuesday and Thursday. I like the mix. Tuesday and Thursday interview, Monday hang time, Saturday art tips and comic reviews, etc. That's interesting. Yeah, because we are doing this pretty much every night. And if I can, I'd like to be able to continue that. That's the idea. I also would like to have a lot more pre-made stuff so I can really dial it in and get more effective with some of these concepts and ideas. I love the mix. When working in the mainstreams, are creators made aware beforehand of where the ads are placed and the conscious about working around them as to not ruin pacing or reveals? We are not, and that's a big problem, and I'm glad you've illuminated that and brought it to the attention of the chat and me. The He-Man issue, the only complaint I had was the ad placement and the fact that the ads that were placed were these double-page comic book ads. So you're reading He-Man, which has different styles in it. I was asked to draw characters in different styles. You turn the page and suddenly there's another style, and you don't know that it's a Snickers ad until you get on the second page, and you're like, it's jarring. When I lay out a book, with the understanding of these two pages are going to be next to each other. This is page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And sometimes when they throw an ad in, it ends up changing up how pages butt next to each other. And I designed them to exist next to one another. So, yeah, we're not told. And that it could be a real kick in the butt. Let's see. Television scripts in network and cable TV has a format so you know where the breaks are for commercials. You generally leave off a cliffhanger on a page so people come back after commercials. True. We would hope. Damn, dude. Dense stuff. It'd be cool if comics and advertisements at DC Marvel okayed together so the same could happen. We would hope. I mean, that would be awesome. That's something that I think would be great. I really do. Let's see. Is there any particular TV show or movie you wanted to put your storyboards to? That's a good question. I like Black Mirror a lot. I mean, there's certain books that I wish were turned into movies, and I wish I could turn be able to sequence those. Like there's a Dr. Seuss book called Sneetches on the Beaches that I really, really love. It's be a great family movie. I have a way of expanding it out to a 90-minute movie, and I see a lot of sequences and things in my mind of how to make that thing real, which is, it's a big... At a point in my career, I had an agent, and they sent me out as their new hot, fresh talent to go pitch at a bunch of places. And one of the places I pitched at was Illumination. They do, the Minions and Despicable Me, and they also do like Horton Hears a Who and stuff like that. So they have the Dr. Seuss license. So I went and set up meetings to pitch this Sneetches on the Beaches. I pitched it to their first level person that kind of handles ideas, and if they're good enough, they graduate up. It graduated up. I went to pitch it to that person. They loved it. The next pitch was going to be with Chris Melandandri, who is basically the head of that studio, and the meeting got killed immediately. And I was told that they have first right, but they also have a rollout of which Dr. Seuss things they want to do, and they are not going to. Doesn't matter if the idea is better than sliced bread. They're not going to put it in an already existing rollout. What I also learned from hearing that is that they have first right. So if I went to go pitch it somewhere else, they could also potentially put the kibosh on it. So anyway, it didn't happen. But these are things you learn, and this is why you focus on your own stuff. Like I have a buddy of mine. He's an excellent music video director. His name's Joseph Kahn. He directs things, a movie like Torque, Detention, a new one called Bodied about battle rap, and you can check that out on iTunes Music. An incredible creator, incredible visualist, huge Spider-Man fan. He and I want to do a Spider-Man book, and here you go. You have the guy who's directed Britney Spears, Eminem, Backstreet Boys, Madonna, just did a Cardi B Pepsi commercial. The guy is like super commercial, and his ideas are great. I brought them up to Marvel, and they didn't care, and you just go, okay, well, maybe any of that creative juice should just be put into something that you have control over, and maybe not be so involved in playing with other people's toys. Play with your own, make your own stuff and make it the best you can. Let's see if there's any other questions. Is there any... What was one of comics' greatest tragedies? I'm glad DC got rid of those split page ads where the ad was the bottom of the page. Yeah. Horrific. I've seen those Snicker ads. I thought it was a flashback scene. Yeah. I've thought the same way. It gets me upset. Me too. I love Sneetches on the Beaches. Probably spelled it wrong. I think it's spelled right, Jason. I think you spelled it right. That's like one of my all-time favorite. It's a wonderful parable. You can look at it and look at it and say it's about racism. It could also be about classism. It could be also about how people. It could be flipped. They're the people that think they're cooler than others because they have a status. But there's also the flip of it where people in general are status chasing. They're also a parable in the fact that Professor Monkey McBean made a machine that cashed in on these people's insecurities and wants and desires, and rolled out of town with a big truck full of money. There's very interesting. That's the thing I liked about Seuss is even though they're these sort of, it's a something you call a rapper that's whack is a Dr. Seuss rhymer. da 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 da, like Granny Goose or Mother Goose rhymes. But Seuss, man, the Mother Goose, Dr. Seuss, uh, Seuss was poignant. You know, I forget what they were called, the two Zaxes or whatever, eastbound Zax, westbound Zax, and they're walking in a straight line and run into each other, and the one says, get out of the way, I'm headed west. The other one says, get out of the way, I'm headed east. And I am a westward bound. I do only go west. I don't go south. I don't go north. I only go west. Well, I'm an eastbound and I don't so I'm not getting out of your way. What a wonderful parable about hard-headed assholes, like that's wonderful. And it's a kid's story, but there's a parable there. I love that stuff, especially when it's so well executed and drawn in such a charming way. Let's see here. What's up, King Crow? Dang, I always miss when you start. I try to start at, what up, Luke? I try to start at 9 p.m. Eastern sharp, trying to make a habit of that. It's tough, right? Because we have our West Coast brethren that are at 6. We have Central at 7. We have the other guys at 8. And we have us at 9. And we even have some people calling in from other parts of the world. I found that 9 p.m. was a good sweet spot. The one thing that is a downer for me, and again, one of the reasons I really want to do some pre-recorded stuff along with our live session, is 9 p.m. is after I've had my full day, and a lot of times I'm doing a lot of work, and my brain, by the time I'm seeing and talking with you guys, my brain is shot. You're getting like the vapors of me, and I really want to be able to give more, and I could say let's go on earlier, but then people in the West Coast won't be off work yet, so some of the stuff I'm going to do for pre-tape is going to be during the day, where a lot more information will be flowing through my brain, and I'll have a lot more energy. Also trying to exercise too. I'm trying to get better. I still have a sore throat. It's nowhere near as bad as it was last weekend, but anyhow, that's what's up. Dr. Seuss used to write the Army and Stan Lee in World War II. That's nuts. That is nuts. Let's see. No, 9 p.m. is cool. I just always have something going on or getting out of work on my 2 awesome kids, life and shit. Yes, I do know. Are there any ideas you have that you rather just be the writer or such other than illustrate? Jason, that's a wonderful question. I think yes. I think the answer to that is yes. Because I'm a fan of a lot of people's work, and when we talk about the concept of the sustainability, the thing that I want to do, especially when I start crowd funding my comics and my ideas, like take Ethan Van Sciver for an example. He made almost $1 million on Cyberfrog. Okay, when I look at that, and I look at that kind of pool of money after you pay for the book, pay for the order fulfillment, pay for printing, shipping, make sure everybody's happy, and you take care of your bills, there's still money left over. Some people could say, hey, I'm gonna retire, go Bahamas, whatever. My whole concept on something like that is, now I can hire so and so. Now I can get this person. I want to hire writers. I want to hire pencilers, inkers, colorists. I want to be able to execute these things, And yeah, a lot of these things are my ideas. But if there is an opportunity to create jobs, there's also the opportunity to get some of the ideas out. Of which, to answer your question, I have plenty. There are some that are very personal and close to me that I would want to execute myself. But I literally have a book that there's more than 50 ideas in. And sadly, like, the thing that bums me out is because time is so finite and life is so short, a lot of the ideas that I have end up getting made by someone else. And I don't mean like ripped off, but like, for example, I had a book called SWAT, and this is in 1997. and we did a little 8-page thing in the back of the Coven or something. I don't remember what it was in the back of. I think it was the Coven, but it was a little 8-page backup for SWAT, and SWAT was a high school kid who was sick of crime in his small town. The idea was a bunch of crime was happening in the big city. Superheroes were kicking the shit out of the big time supervillains. So those supervillains moved into small towns and decided it's better to have a bunch of small towns instead of one big city and get our ass kicked. So this kid who had no superpowers whatsoever decided he wanted to beat up these bad guys using household tools that you would find at a hardware store. And he has a girl sidekick that helped him as well. And I mean, it was basically a kid without powers out there fighting in the streets. It was Kick-Ass essentially before Kick-Ass, but I'd never really explored it beyond that. There are plenty of other ideas that I have that I go, ah, shit, man, that's a lot like the one I had. Now I can't do that. If I had more capital and was able to hire other people, that's an opportunity to get these ideas out there into the world and fleshed out. Again, life is short, so yeah, I definitely have ideas. Rooster says, "I'll write for nothing right now." Rooster, we will have a discussion. Believe me, we will. You see me talking to guys like Frank Thierry and Tim Seeley and stuff, but good writing is good writing. I'm not a flavor of the month kind of guy. I'm a good writer. If good writing is good writing, I'm not a hype guy. I like what I like. You see, Rob Willis. Nobody knows who Rob Willis is yet. They will. They absolutely will. And the right people are starting to take notice now. But I like what I like based on whether it's solid or not. So for sure, we will talk. Let's see. I missed my 2 favorite Dr. Seuss are Hurt and Here's a Who, and Thidwick and the Big-Hearted Moose. I don't know that one. I'm going to have to check it out. Anyone else remember Soul Saga? Heck yeah, of course. Stephen Platt, man. Let's see. Do you think the popularity of comic book movies are helping keep comic industry afloat or monopolizing the fandom? Old adage, why read the book when you can just watch the movie? Martyr, that's a great question. One would hope that a portion of those people would buy into comics. The fact of the matter is people don't like reading. Some of us do. Like the people here in the chat will like reading. Clearly because you guys are comic book fans, but I have a stepson in my house. He loves comic book movies and won't pick up a comic, and I've tried to show him the good stuff, and it's just like it's not the same, and it's also different now than it was when I was a kid. I've used this analogy before in previous streams, but I'll use it again. Wolverine, 1991. We had a Wolverine video game for Nintendo. We had that X-Men animated cartoon. We had X-Men action figure, Wolverine action figure, and we had the Wolverine in the comic book. Out of all those things that I mentioned, the absolute most hands-down coolest version was Jim Lee's when he was drawing inside X-Men. So if you wanted to find the coolest Wolverine ever, you had to find him in the pages of a comic book. Hi, Lilybell. I'm on a stream right now. Why are you growling?
Just put on dumb anime when it was my idea to have a nice movie with him.
Okay, well I'm online right now and you're coming in here to cry at me, baby. Are you okay? Are you okay? Okay, we'll talk in a little bit. Do you want to watch something in here? Okay, well, that's up to him, sweetheart. Siblings. Anyhow, now here it is, 2019, and some of the stuff on the movie screen is incredibly cool looking, and the comic book is fighting to keep up, So that's why, again, the best version of Black Flag you're ever going to see right now is in the pages of Black Flag. So there's a bit of the adjustment, but of getting people to read, I don't know. I don't know the statistical data. You know, you would hope. I think they need to start putting comics. Like my buddy Enrique has a comic book store next to a movie theater. I think that's a brilliant idea. I think they need to have more comic stuff accessible in non comic specific places. It might be an accessibility thing. Let's see here. Let's see. I like the 9, but I get off work at 8. It depends on the day. Either work out and eat, depending on missing a show. We're ready to spend, man, says Justin. I will be ready to do it as soon as I finish up He-Man and get my shows that I work on wrapped up. So we're looking at February. And I want to get a bunch of the art done in the meantime, like my Christmas break. I'm gonna use to get some stuff done, get at least some of the first pages done, so you can see an idea of what I'm talking about when I say when we look at something like this. This was Black Flag 1994. I want to just continue upon the path that this image has carved out. So more of that, but betterfied. You know, more Fragaboom. If you picked up the Masters in the Multiverse, take a look at that one. Especially take a look at issue 2. That is me at an 8 in comparison to what I'm gonna do with Black Flag. And the reason why it's at an 8 and not say an 11 like Black Flag is because it's licensed, and I have to, you know, obey the rules. I need to stay within the guardrails to not be, you know, you can't make He-Man's armor all beat up and tear up clothes and shreds and like do all the things I want to do and add exaggerated drama, like super over the top, because it's a licensed thing and you can't push things too far. I'm going to push things way too far on Black Flag. I'm going to push it so far that it's going to break your brains. I want my own brain broken. So you're going to start seeing visuals for that, teasers and such, roughly around January, and the campaign will go live in February. So I'm glad to hear you guys are ready to spend, because I am ready to earn those dollars in every way, shape, and form by giving you guys more than you're paying for. That's the mission. Let's see. I will write for nothing. Okay. Like I said, we will find the opportunities, my friend, to make that real. Once you have an idea out there in the idea space and someone else is bound to think of it. That's correct. I remember seeing it, but I don't ever read it. It was an Ian Churchill art. No, it was my art, but it was the Ian Churchill was the Coven one, but the backup story was my art. Soul Hog Saga was Splat. I remember SWAT. I got them like 15 years ago. Yes, Splat. Gotta Google it. The YouTube comic bubble has burst. YouTube screwed its creators so that they could hand it over to corporate. The Copra looks like the end. King Crow, I don't know so much. And the reason why is I've been doing everything I can to understand the FTC and COPA thing with you're assigning your video for kids or not for kids, and that audience being under 13. So what I plan on doing is basically saying this material is not, if you're 13 or under, don't watch it. You know, it's on you basically if you are, you know, just figuring out like I said, a way to cover that, because comic books are not just for kids. In fact, most comic books now aren't, and my comics certainly won't be. There will probably be some intense action that, let's just call it PG-13. Okay, let's just call it that. If not rated R, you know, exploding heads and bullet shells and, you know, all the stuff we like from the 90s is going to be poured into it, and the show is going to be about creativity and taking things to that level. So I'm going to make sure it's not for kids. Neil Adams Batman 251 cover art just sold for $600,000. That's amazing. Kudos to the seller and buyer of that one. Getting ideas stolen is not a result of hive mind. It's why I'm trying to get my book out as quick as I can. Exactly right. Get it done. I don't read. I look at the pretty pictures. Yep. Gotta love kids and their emotions. Exactly. YouTube done fucked up big time. All it's doing is get the YouTubers together to take action. Has anyone read Shirtless Bear Fighter? No. Let's see. My idea, comic book store strip club, not in the same place, like a duplex, top bottom thing. Heard screaming upstairs. There's crazy screaming upstairs. That's always good. Dan, have you decided on the page count or stretch goal for the count? Drawn Sword Graphics, I have not, but I've been seeking wise counsel in the likes of Billy Tucci, Jimmy Palmiotti, and just had a nice conversation this week with Brian Pulido in regard to what is the most effective, what is the right sort of thing, because there's sort of an algebraic scale that happens when you're doing a crowdfunded comic. So, for example, in my mind, the Black Flag story very much could be an 80-page story, right? But then what ends up happening when you take the how much a page costs to produce, you say, I've got, even if I took myself completely out of the picture, like I didn't receive any money while working on it, my work aspect of it was for free. I still have to pay Adelso, I still have to pay Matt, I still have to pay Ken, I have to pay the printer, I have to pay for it to be delivered, I have to pay for fulfillment, and I have to pay taxes, right? And when you look at something that's an 80-page comic, you go, that page rate, how much a page costs, times 80, right? And you go, okay, well now suddenly my goal is going to be inflated. Or if you bring it down, the page count down to 48 pages, it's a little more manageable, and you break the campaign into two separate campaigns where you get the first one done. If there's extra money, you can bankroll the second one, get that started and pay for it, and not have to ask as much to do the next one because you use some of the funds from the first one to do the second one. It's all about making it happen and making it reality. So I'm still up in the air, but I've been getting some really wise words from those gentlemen. Let's see here. Dan is going to 11. That is correct. Don't most things go to 10? Dan goes to 11. I agree, time to shut them down and hit the restart. My 5-year-old just broke a glass cup and fell, managed not to get cut or hurt. No idea how that happened. Man, that's the worst. You just mentioned 3 of my favorite people in comics. Yeah, good people. Good people. Do we have any other questions? Because we're at 1:13. And I could do some drawing if you guys want some drawing, or if you guys want to continue with the Q&A. I'm good with the Q&A. But yeah, in regard to the whole crowdfunding thing, what's wonderful right now is there are many examples of the trailblazing. There's also interesting takes on things, you know. Like, for example, I was watching Art to Bear stream yesterday with Aaron Lepresti, and Aaron was talking about how on Twitter he was casually asking a question about if you had the choice between these 3 books, and he listed off a bunch of books, and one of them was $1,000, you know, which one would you buy? Not even saying he was going to buy those books. He just was sort of like getting a poll. If you had a choice of these 3 books, what would you buy? And somebody who had funded his campaign got mad at him and said, if you have that kind of money to spend on a comic book, why are you asking for money on your campaign? That's a weird sort of angle to take in my book, to say, if you have money, why are you asking for money? You know, that's not how things work, you know, especially when it comes to making a comic book. I mean, it everybody's level of sacrifice is different. And if somebody makes their money from something and they put their money into it, like I think in Aaron's case, one of his sacrifices is he's doing all of his part, the writing and drawing, for free. That isn't just for free, it's taking away working on something else that you can be paid on. So not only are you not being paid for the work you're doing, you're not doing a job that you could be paid for. So that's a big window of sacrifice. And if you had savings, that's your savings money, and you could spend it any way you want. Why should no studio, there's all these movie studios that have tons of money, that make tons of money, that still get investors to make movies. They get investors to make movies because they don't spend the money, they don't put that money that they made from other movies into other movies unless they have to. Anyway, I'm totally digressing. My whole thing is I want to make sure that the people that work on my book get taken care of, and that the book can exist. And more importantly, if the book makes money beyond what we need, like if it makes a profit, I want to take that money and continue to create more, which is why the sustainability model is what I'm aiming for. And we are going to do that through the use of this show, through the word of mouth with you guys, and worth just making good stuff, and making it more than worth, more than you paid for it. You ever go to a movie where like you left the movie so glad you saw it and wanted to see it again, and it made you think and you thought about it, or it inspired you or whatever? Like when I was a kid, that movie was Karate Kid. I remember leaving that movie being thrilled, and believing in yourself, and thought about it a lot. There's plenty of movies that do that, plenty of comics that do that. I think those books that continue to give are the kind of books that I want to make. So, and that doesn't have to be highbrow stuff. It doesn't have to have a message. It just has to be impactful. Anyhow, let's go into this. Star says, please don't limit the Black Flag campaign to U.S. only. I'm in Europe and really want to get it. Thanks. What I might end up doing, because it's a good idea, Star, I think the hard part about Europe is the shipping. So what needs to happen is either the easy route to me is to just call it the domestic tier and an international tier, right? Like a different tier, and the international tier perhaps gets something extra, plus the fact that shipping, it will be added in and such. That's the easy route. The other way is potentially to find out a less expensive solution to the shipping, because that's usually where the snag gets caught up is the rate for the shipping. So I've found in my experiences that slower shipping equals less money. So if there was a kind of a compromise of patience, and waiting maybe an extra week or two to get it versus a drop date, that might be a way. But I definitely want the book in everybody's hands. That's for sure. Let's see here. Kids can be off the charts mental, but they got to take a step back within half fraction of a second, and you will be like, oh my FG, I love them so much. True that. Do you feel the crowdfunding standard 22 to 26 page good is gone the way of the dodo? I don't know. I haven't seen an example of it yet. A lot of people. This is why it. I believe that it might, is that in order for a book to get made, it has to hit a certain number, right? So within the system that's in play with Diamond and your comic book shop and all of that, I remember with Gear Station, and the reason why I had to kill Gear Station with issue 5 is it got to a point where after all was said and done and I paid all my people, I was making something like $300 to write, pencil, well, create, write, pencil, ink, promote. I made $300 for all of that work for a month, you know, and you realize like, oh shit, I could have got a job working retail or in fast food and made more money. And I'm glad I provided the jobs for the other people and never cut their rates, but it got to a point where it wouldn't work. So there ends up being this sort of create more value aspect of things. So that's where you bump up the page count, and there are sliding factors, right? So like it costs the same, and this is a for example, and I might be talking out of my ass, but that's why I'm saying it's a for example. A 22 page comic and a 48 page comic, when all is said and done, shipping a case costs the same because it falls within that weight category of costing the same. So you find out, oh shoot, I can save this much in shipping by doing this. I can charge this much more because it's double value. I can put more bells and whistles on it. Therefore, now that 3 weeks, 4 weeks worth of work, or however long it takes to do those pages, are now it's essentially worth your time. And that's not saying ideas aren't worth your time, but like, you know, especially gals, creators that, you know, want to do this as their living. In order to make things happen, they have to be able to make things happen. So anyway, I'm digressing. I think more pages equals more value. You know, if I had my druthers, I would make Black Flag. I would make this story broken up into 4 issues if I could, because of the way I see the story and some of the big turns of the story. But also, it could work as 2. It could work as 1. But again, that scale of sliding, you know, if it was 1, at this page count, suddenly that goal becomes way too high. At this page count, suddenly the value becomes too low. So then it's finding that sweet spot that makes the whole thing work. What's up, Inkwell? Let's see. Crowdfunding is tough. What the sweet spot for how many pages you deliver what you ask people to pay for? $25 is steep for a 48-page comic, especially if they have to pay for shipping. King Crow, yeah, it's weird. It just depends on the value, you know. I mean, the thing is, you know, if you need the thing to pay for itself, there has to be, you know, you can't charge. Here's the sliding scale. For example, let's say I need $1 amount to produce this thing, right? And then that $1 amount, based on how many backers you think it'll take to make it a reality, changes the price of each tier. So if you think your fan base, like let's say it like this. Let's say you have, it will cost you $10,000. I'm just using an even number. It will cost you $10,000 to make your project a reality, and that is to cover your costs, pay for shipping, pay for, you know, printing, shipping, and your taxes. It'll cost $10,000. Well, if you know that you have 1,000 fans, you can set that first tier at $10 and go, okay, I feel like I can get this, and anything extra on top of those 1,000 backers will be extra, and that's fantastic. But if you have 2 backers, let's say you have 2 fans, you're coming out of the gate, nobody knows who you are, and you need that $10,000, you're gonna need, and you can only get 2 backers, then you're charging $5,000 for your book. That's what I mean about the sliding scale, you know. So I don't know what the threshold is for my campaign. I still have to finish up the numbers. I'm pricing out a lot of the things. That's why you know, I could say, oh, Black Flag, let's do the campaign tomorrow. The book is ready to go. I'm going to, you know, all this. But no, this stuff takes a lot of really due diligence and research of getting the best price for printing, the best price for the tiers, the best price for fulfillment, the, you know, best everything, the best time to campaign, how to campaign, who to campaign with. All of those things are factors to get this price point, which you want to deliver value, these tiers, which will be as equal or better in value. How many backers do I need to make sure that this project can actually happen? That's ultimately what we want. You know, I'm sure there's some people with stars in their eyes that go, I want to be a millionaire and I'm going to crowdfund something. Well, that's the wrong reason. The right reason is you have a project that you want to get out there. So that's, again, sustainability is number one for me. And I want to be able, even if this one just barely covers cost of all of it, that's all I really need, because then it will create product and precedence for the next one. That's the bare minimum that I'm aiming for. Anything on top of that will mean I can hire more people. I can, you know, make other things happen that I want to have. Matt Yackey and I talk a lot of plans, especially when we get together, and there are a lot of things congealing. There are people that I want to work with. I'm always going to be working with Matt Yackey, Ande Kromoff, Will Perdomo. I really like Rooster Puncher a lot. There's another guy I met while I was in Knoxville. He's a retail guy without a retail store who moves comics and has an understanding of how to move comics. He's one of those guys that I think needs to be part of the team. But I need, in order to have that, which will create that sustainability, think of it as a snowball on an avalanche, right? I need enough to shove me off. I need enough momentum to roll down the hill, and then I need enough momentum to accumulate snow to become a giant snowball that will then end up going and causing an avalanche. But right now we're at the top of the hill gathering snow. So that first campaign is that shove. That's how I want to think of it. And then when I say pick up snow, I'm talking about getting more talent, more expertise to really create something and start inviting more people in, and creating a label of quality. So that's the aim. Let's see. Looking forward to helping promote the book when you're ready. I appreciate that, Pixel. Doing 4 books of 48 pages seems like nice pace. Yeah, that's the I call it the Dark Knight formula. That's my favorite. Dark Knight, the original 1986 series, is my favorite format. It's my favorite length. There's something about that cardboard square-bound stock. There's something about the way it feels. It's hearty, even if it's continuation. Gives you the opportunity to give each book a name. That's my favorite so far. Let's see some more questions. Content versus cost is all about finding that balance. With crowdfunding, there's also built-in value in helping creator bring their vision to fruition. Amen, brother. Second, in Charles had to buy 5 comics to get 5 today. I walked out with 90 comics. I didn't need to spend that much money today. I did the same thing the other day, man. You check out Photoshop for the iPad yet? I like the cloud integration. I might, but I'm really happy with Procreate and the workflow I got. For real, on the sliding scale, I plan on doing webcomic for free, game readers, see if I can get some heat. Good plan, my friend. Mike Green, what's up, my dude? Went to the Bay Area show, got to hang out with Rob. I bet that was magical, dude. You have a look at the crowdfunding model like a convention exclusive. This is what you might pay for a signed variant from your favorite creator. Think of shipping as show entry fee. Yeah, there's going to be like different things. And before the campaign goes, I mean, the thing I really love about our interaction is it gives me a true gauge of things. Today I was telling Matt about this idea I had for Black Flag and an idea of variant covers. And I go, well, is that a value? Is the variant covers an added value, or is it a gimmick? Is it something people want? Do we stay at a certain format, and then after it comes out, offer those variants after the fact to see if people want them, and give them their individual place? Those are all things that are on the table that could be completely squashed and extinguished, or they can be lit up and become full-on bonfires. We're gonna find out. Got a little late. Was it Wizard World Bay Area and got to hang out with Liefeld? That's right. Now I am jealous. They say, sounds like a good time. Probably a silly question because I realize practice makes perfect, but did you put a lot of work in with perspective? Like sketching grids, buildings, and backgrounds when you're not figure drawing? Thank you, Mr. Green. I appreciate that. I'm going to show you, since we got a tiny bit of time, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the old iPad. Hopefully we won't get all stuttery and stuff. And I'm going to show you what I do for perspective. And it's only going to take a couple of minutes to show you guys what it is that this is. Let me create a new picture. Do screen sharing real quick. Boop. Start broadcast. Hopefully it's up and going. Yes, it is. All right, I'm going to add this in, and then we will go right into answering your perspective question. So here we are. I gave this exact lesson today at the comic book shop. So all you really need to know, especially if you're on the ground or anything like that, is the main thing is knowing where your horizon is at. Okay, so I'm going to say that this is our horizon line, right? Now what you need to know is that wherever your horizon line is falling is where you say the camera's eye is in relation to the horizon. That's it. So for example, if I say I'm going to put a person's head right here, and I'm going to put their body here, these are going to be super crude, their legs here like that. I'm saying right now that all right, we're back. That was a technical error on my part. Let me type this in. New stream. Boom. There we go. So we're back. Let's see. What did this say? This message is being held for review. I don't even know what that means. Sorry about that, you guys. We're back. So if the horizon line falls on the person's chest right there, saying it falls here. If I drew a person here in the foreground, it's falling the same part of their chest. Okay, and proportionally, that person is here. If I drew someone even further away down here, it's still falling on their chest. And now we have these guys in perspective. Okay? Now, what's going to happen next, I'm going to show you the same thing on a new layer, and we're going to keep that line. I'm going to draw this line again, okay? Right there. But I'm going to delete this layer, and we're going to do a new one. Now watch what I do. If I put the person up here, and now say that the horizon line is down at their knees, okay? If I drew somebody here close in the foreground, that's their knees. Again, this is real rough stuff here. And I drew someone way out here. That line is falling along the same place in their knees. I put another person even a little bit closer. We see that the perspective works because we're lower to the ground. Your vanishing point, you know, we can do the whole grid thing like this, and there's methods to that. The other thing I can teach you real quick that's a good for perspective is the idea of a measuring depth line, a real depth line that will give you completely accurate depth. So for example, if I say I space these dots equally apart from one another, okay, best I can. That one's off a little bit, okay, and I say this unit of measure right here equals 1 foot, okay, and I say here's my vanishing point, and everything I do goes to that vanishing point. Okay, I'm using the line tool in Procreate that makes a straight line. Otherwise, we would use a ruler, and this isn't going to be perfect. But the idea is going to be is to show you how to do this unit of measure. Now, the next thing you want to do is decide what 1 foot is here. Okay, I'm going to say that it's probably here. I'm going to draw a straight line across. So what we're saying right here is the idea of this is that this right here is 1 foot this way, like this, as it is this way. Now the way you get accurate depth throughout those other squares is if you take this horizon line and you draw a line through that like this to your horizon line. That diagonal where these intersect, here, 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 and here. This is sloppy without a ruler because I'm not using assisted drawing. Oops. As these recede in the distance, each of these squares, these are in correct perspective. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I was to lay down a person right there in perspective, if they were laying on the ground, we could safely say that was a 6-foot person. That's essentially how perspective, the rules that I use when I do it. I don't really do hardcore grid too much anymore, and I also don't. I pretty much eyeball it. I sometimes will throw a grid in there if I need a little bit of extra help visualizing, but for the most part, I eyeball it these days. You should design a variant cover for Black Flag where the cover be cut and folded in a huge kick-ass gun. That's hilarious. Offering variants for bundles on second and third campaigns. That's a great idea. Let's see. Let's see. You're not going for a gimmick cover for Black Flag. Ethan's Chromium cover is awesome. I don't know yet. I mean, I have a main cover that I have that's going to be inked by Liefeld and McFarlane, and the idea lends itself to be a die cut, kind of like the Punisher Warzone #1. Again, it depends, like the price per unit. You know, we have to make sure that that there's value there. Ethan did variants the right way. Mike did not. I'll have to talk to Ethan about it. Ethan's another great resource. Smilers, Indiegogos is too much. It's going to struggle packing all that shit. S. Millers, sorry. Yeah, exactly, man. it's not really thinking all the way through. You should design it. Yeah, saw that. Trent Canuga has some great tutorials on perspective. Trent's great. He's on YouTube. New stream. Oh boy. Yes, it's back. Nice stems. Creed was awesome. Creed was good book. He's fine-tuned his art over the years. That's true. Yeah, Trent is doing a bunch of video game concept work. Definitely more refined. Yeah, he is awesome. He is awesome. Anyhow, guys, we are at the 10:41. Die cut is always awesome, like Wolverine 50. Yeah, I wish my art teacher would have shown it that way. I still wouldn't be able to draw, but I have a better understanding of it. Yeah, man, it's a lot of times, like I said, what I'm looking for when I'm working are shortcuts, but not shortcuts in a way that it takes away the aesthetic value. I have a picture in my head of the thing that I want to draw. I have a way I want it to look, and I will find every way possible to get it done as quick as possible and accomplish that vision. So, there's a thing called Parkinson's law, and I'm going to look it up right now because I don't want to mess it up. So I'm going to read it verbatim. Parkinson's law. There we go. Parkinson's law is the adage that work expands as to fill the time available for its completion. Okay? Work expands as to fulfill the time available for its completion. So, for example, in your mind, if you will allow something to take 8 hours, it will take 8 hours. And if you say, hey, I'm only going to make this take 4 hours, it will take 4 hours and you will get it done. There is a full threshold, though, of it not getting there. And I always try to aim to find the edge of that and go right there so I can be more efficient at getting things out. That to me, and that's the reason I use those quick tips for perspective. That horizon trick, air quotes on trick, that has been super helpful, especially in storyboarding where I have to be very fast. They're not necessarily concerned with aesthetics as they are with clarity and accuracy. So I use that a lot there. Let's see. Oh, also an inker, Walden Wan at Con today recognized the Black Flag pen and said he digs your art and is looking forward to Black Flag's return. I love Walden. I miss Walden. That is very kind to him. I drew so many cereal boxes, drawing 101. It just takes a little practice. Yes. This was a great stream session. Who's the next guest? Hoping to get Kyle Holtz on. He was supposed to be on tonight. He did give me a caveat when I booked him that he was waiting on a script, and if that script came through, he would have to postpone it. That script did come through. There's a bit of postponing, so there's that. I also have some other guys that I'm reaching out to because I want to talk to them about creativity, and not just comic book guys. There's a musician out there named Mark Riblier. I'm not sure if I'm saying it right, but he makes live music doing loops and singing and rapping. I really, really enjoy his stuff and would love to get him on the show. So I'm trying to reach out to creative people that have a voice, that have succeeded in getting their work out there and can share with us their methods of their madness, because I do believe that if you have creative vision and put your best foot forward, that anything is possible. Let's see. That was a great perspective tip. Dana's one with his brain vision. Yeah, I try to be. Those damn cereal boxes, I got to do them over and over and over to get used to them. Yeah, it is what it is. Jason Brubaker is another great guy to watch and glean crowdfunding ideas. I have to check him out. I don't know him. Had an art teacher bring her mother-in-law's actual skull into class. Whoa. That's some crazy shit, man. I mean, a skull is a skull, but your mother-in-law's skull, man, that must see. He or she must have taken great. I say she because my art teachers in high school were lovely ladies. Anyhow, let's see here. Please, at some point, try and get Jake Parker. That's a great idea. I think I think that's a fantastic idea, and I've had interaction with him enough times on Instagram and in person that it would not be a weird question for him. I think that's a great idea. In fact, you guys, again, this is my plea to you, and it's beneficial for the show on one hand because in the backdoor area, it helps the algorithm to see activity in the comments section. So let's say, hey, benefit number one. But not necessarily benefit number one as far as the most powerful aspect of things. I'm just bringing it up as number one in the topic. The most powerful one is your comments, questions, and suggestions are what is going to make this show become go from what it is right now to what it is going to be and continue to be, which is a wonderful resource for creative knowledge and getting your things done. So if you have suggestions for guests, please put them in the comments section. I think Jake Parker is great. If you have suggestions for segments of the show, if you want a hip hop section, a music video section, the fight, I'm going to be doing fight and Lovebot. Those are planned. Interviews, like I said, I have plenty of them pre-recorded that I'm going to edit during the Christmas break. And those are going to be debuting. Like I said, we're doing a small overhaul in a good way January 1st, so we're going to be debuting that stuff. But I definitely need your guys' feedback. I need your suggestions and your likes, wants, and needs, and your also the stuff that you think could hit the road. There we go. Let's see. Really glad EVS recommended your channel. Love your live streams. Thank you, DJ2K. I love Ethan's live streams as well. They're always filled with interesting topics and interesting takes, which I enjoy. Need a Feel the Blood cover. Man, that shit was expensive to make. It's called a thermal ink, and it reacts to heat. So the rubbing of the blood was friction, If you take a hair dryer to those, the blood will disappear completely. Excuse me. And if you put it in the fridge, it'll get really dark. That's it because it's thermal ink. It's not activated by anything but the heat from the friction of the rubbing. But it was a very, very expensive process. So that's it. How do I get started learning to do what you and Kim Jong-gi just do and sit down and churn out a full illustration? Luke, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give you my email and everybody here my email. My email is my name. So it's simply danfraga, DANFRAGA at Mac. That's spelled MAC.com. DANFRAGA at Mac.com. Send me an email and say, I want that outline. I have an outline that takes you step by step how I went from not being able to do what, let's just call it the Kim Jong-gi method, not being able to do what Kim Jong-gi does, to do it, being able to do it as I do it now. I had to systematically break down the reasons I couldn't in order to overcome them and be able to do it. And I wrote it all down to be able to share. Another thing that I'm going to be doing next year, and hopefully you guys will like it, is I'm going to start an exclusive mailing list. It'll be a pesky mailing list that you get in your email that will have updates and things, but I also want to reward you guys for signing up to it. So, for example, when you do sign up to it, you might be able to download a PDF of the original Black Flag run, or the pencils to Bloodstrike #1, or this FDS outline. I want to be able to make it worth your while and also include some things that are exclusives to the newsletter, like coupon codes and secret words and things like that, to really make it fun and interactive. But I need to start getting a mailing list going And the reason for that is very simple. Imagine that the YouTube show is a success. Okay? We're working on that, right? Imagine it's a success and we have as many viewers as someone like Ethan has, right? Over 100,000 subscribers. And that YouTube channel is how we get our word out. That's how people are in the know and such, right? Now, what if suddenly, for some reason, any reason, because right now there's a lot of churn in the YouTube waters, the channel gets shut down or fined or whatever, and it's not around anymore? How are we going to be able to communicate? How are you going to know where to find what's next and such? A newsletter is a way to still have a beacon and get to the people that absolutely want it. And then, who knows? I've been talking to Andre, who is a software engineer, about perhaps creating a proprietary thing where we, stream or create a unique thing where you go to the a website and that's where you get the stream. My whole thing is I don't want to be dependent on something that could easily be gone. I mean, imagine if somebody's YouTube stream just gets pulled. How are they going to reach people? So I want to do the mailing list, but I want to make, like I said, I want to make it cool. But yeah, please email me, danfrega@mac.com, and I will send you that FDS outline. And eventually we're going to do a mailing list. We'll think of what it's called. It'll be almost like the Stan's letters column or whatever, except I write back to you. You guys will get exclusives on appearances, where I'm going to be, a show schedule perhaps, exclusive to the mail thing, exclusive PDFs, again, exclusive content, exclusive codes and things like that. So I think it's something we're going to do to have some fun. Going to post some things in the comments, possible ideas. I like that you have the links in the description. Thank you, sir. Excellent. This is actually what I'm looking to do. That's what makes sense. Makes comics great. Different art styles. Yes, newsletter and a Dan Frega Boom app. Working on the app too. Andre's actually working on the app, which is going to be a more sort of interactive version of the newsletter. Newsletter is a good idea. Just a short email would work. Yeah, that's it. A short email. Not even, asking for anything. Just, hey, this is what's going on. I know right now I'm going to be in Nashville December 1st. I'm going to be in Benicia, California, December 6th. Then in April, is it March or April? I'm going to be in Miami. I'm going to be in Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I'm going to be in Houston, Texas. So those are places all around the map. Hopefully, that's my heater. There it goes. It must have gotten too hot. Anyhow, that was startling. Speaking of startling, have you guys ever been to a teppanyaki place where the chef, when he comes out, slams his spatula on the grill so hard that it makes your butthole wince? Yeah, that happened yesterday. I took my family to teppanyaki, and I was going to give some nice soup broth to my 9-month-old, and I'm turning like this, and the guy slammed it so hard that I threw the soup into my own lap. That's a legit startling action. Anyway, nice little story. Okay, just made it in, Matt Yackey. Wait, you just got home from being here, or did you have other stuff? Or man, that's crazy. That woke me up. My heater does the same thing. Yeah, I didn't do it. Dan's making the room too hot. Too hot. Too hot. What that was. Luke says, "What up, Matt Yackey?" Yes, sir. Butthole wincing is a serious thing, Dan. It's a truthful thing though, man. Like, they don't want prairie dogging out. Yes, I was a cook. Some cooks like to hit saucepans for fun. I hated that. I was trimming my mustache. Glad I didn't lose half of it. Jude, you want to hear something funny, man? Talk about shave off half of it. This was 1998 or 99. I was shaving my head, and I had, my bath towel around me, and I'm shaving my head, and I'm getting it all cleaned up. And apparently there was like a little thread hanging on my towel, and my cat was down below trying to hit it. And he jumped up and stuck his claw on the inside of my thigh by my knee, and it startled me so much that I shaved half of my eyebrow off. That took a long ass time to grow back. That's what I have to say about that, and my eyebrow has not been the same since. I had to get food and eat first. Just got in the room. Okay, good, man. You were scaring me. Because I know it shouldn't have taken that long. Sometimes I drive over the small hill near my house when it makes my beanbags feel funny. Beanbag. Right on. Well, before we close out, please hit me with, let's go for 3 questions. I will answer 3 questions. It could be about any subject, topic. It doesn't matter. Even if it's offensive, you feel like it's an offensive question, go ahead and ask it, because you have exactly 5 minutes for me to answer them or not. So let's go. I'm going to show you a pretty picture. I'm going to wait for some comments. Dun 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 dun. Man, Tony Joseph going right for it, aren't you? I was 15 years old. The day was November 3rd, 1988. Ka-tang! There's your answer. Let's see. Next question. What's your favorite pie? Toss up between lemon meringue and pumpkin. Both have to be ice cold. Have a new salmon recipe. That's good. I keep it simple. Lemon, butter, garlic, Mrs. Dash table blend, 1 grind of salt. Put it in the broiler at 275, frozen, because that's how I get mine, frozen for 35 to 40 minutes. Let's see. Can you interview either Steranko or Neil Adams on here? Leg kick. I've already interviewed Neil Adams. The interview has been pre-recorded. It is yet to air, but I have Neil Adams. So your wish will come true. I asked Steranko when I saw him at Terrificon, and he told me that he was contractually bound by the documentary that he's currently filming not to do anything else while they're doing that. So I have to, say, okay, man, whatever, it's all good. Art to Bear streaming on Sweatcast right now if you're going to check it out after the stream. What is Sweatcast? I don't know what Sweatcast is. Let me know. How old were you when you lost your virginity, Dan? You already asked that, man. I was 15. 15 years old. It was November 3rd, 1988. Have you ever masturbated to your own art? Look at that metal mover just going right in there. No, I haven't. But I've looked at reference when trying to draw women sometimes. And this is in my younger days because I have a little more self-control now. But I would look at reference, especially during those swimsuit issue days. And I would get, the funny feelings and have to. So, but never over my own art. No. So there's that question for you. Let's see. Dan even remembers the exact date. Favorite whiskey. I could tell you my favorite whiskey I've ever had. And then there's my favorite that's like a daily drinker. Favorite I ever had is a Willet 28 year. I used to be able to get it. I've had 3 bottles of it. Have not been able to find it since. Big fan of Willet. As far as other ones, Pappy Van Winkle makes a terrific rye. Again, it's hard to get, but if you want to talk about daily drinkers, it is a toss-up between Jim Beam and Maker's Mark. But what I generally do now is I buy something that is a lower level. Like, for example, today I bought some Wild Turkey 101. It's got a higher proof, higher percentage rate of alcohol, but I throw it in my barrel for a minimum of 5 weeks, and it smooths it out. So usually my barrel is my hands down favorite of stuff I can get. Let's see. Jeffrey, how are you, Jeffrey? Welcome to the stream. Do you see any issues with artists working twice up in the current industry rather than 11 by 17? Yes. In fact, the Superman that Frank Miller and John Romita Jr. are doing is twice up. And Eric Larson had done some Spider-Man stuff recently that was twice up as well. The page was the size, a single page is the size as a double pager turned sideways. That's how big it is. Tell the truth of a comic book artist about how you really feel about them, like one you cannot stand. Wow, that's one. I could tell you, I don't know about comic book artists. I like everybody as comic artists. I can tell you someone I can't stand. I can't stand Glenn Danzig, and I'll tell him to his face. I think he's a fucking asshole. And anybody knows me knows I'm a nice guy, and for me to say somebody's a fucking asshole, they really have to be. So Glenn Danzig, if you ever see this, fuck you. And see it in my eyes, fuck you. And you know why. So there's that. Let's see. Did you ever get a chance to talk to Ali Garza? I did. In fact, I sent him a text. He said he was interested. But he was at a convention and then he disappeared. So I'm going to have to ping him again. Thank you for that. Please put that in the comments, you guys. Put these things in the comments so I don't forget. Let's see. Let's see. Masturbating to your own art would be like masturbating to your own reflection. Perhaps, yeah. Dan likes the store brand Ripple. Hell no, I don't. Jameson is good. Jameson's fantastic stuff. That's Irish whiskey there. Let's see. Makers is a good daily drinker. Yes. JMO is my go-to, says Jonathan. How are you, Jonathan? Good to see you, man. Missed you today at the shop. Hopefully you were able to pick up your comic. You're going to see the new Star Wars movie? No. Sorry, but no. Superman Roblox style. Bookers used to be great stuff. They did, you're right. Let's see. Speak the truth. Danzig is an asshole. Motherfucker. That's how Danzig stays relevant, by being an a-hole. Perhaps. Maybe he's like Freddy Krueger. I don't know. To me, he's a not a nice man. Broke a poor boy's heart. Anyhow, gang, we have passed the 11 o'clock hour, which means it's going to be sleepy time for this guy right here. Going to jump into some more He-Man tomorrow, some more storyboarding as the week comes, and going to finish up He-Man, and it's going to be a blast. I've been seeing some ink pages from Rich Friend and color pages from Mr. Yaki. I can tell you this, issue 2, I'll hold it up. I'll hold up issue 2 up to the camera real fast to see. I'm not going to. Oh, it's not in here. It's in my email. I'll still show it to you guys so you know the awesomeness that is coming your way. There it is. This is some of the proofs. There's page 1 of issue 2 right there. That's what you get to see, and then I'll show you another one that's a favorite page of mine, so you can see the love and the effort that was put in to this book from the whole team. This is page 4, which was one of the the more difficult pages to draw in the story, but one of my favorites. Anyhow, that's the sneak peek you get on He-Man and the Masters of the Multiverse. And if you haven't yet, go to your comic book store. Ask for the B cover. Make your friend Fregaboom. That's me talking in the third person. That's always so weird. But make your friend happy. Make me happy, and go get that B cover. Yaki and I really busted our asses to make that special and good for you. But again, if you need any sort of anything, you guys, I'm always reachable at my email, danfrega@mac.com. If you want that lecture outline, I'll send that to you. Just know, in the horizon, down the line, coming to you as of January 1st, we will have a new and improved show, and it's going to be very much based on your feedback. So please leave comments and feedback. Hit that like button. That's helpful. On a monetary level, if you want to help the show, there are links in the description of products you can buy through Amazon. They help you because they're products that I endorse and that I buy myself. They help me because I get kickbacks. And if you want some Couchdoodles product, go to couchdoodles.com. If you want that Couchdoodles blank sketchbook, which has paper curated by me, the whole thing was designed and with my supervision, the paper, everything about it, the artwork, the quotes, the whole shebang. I worked with Mike Shiano over at Airship Notebooks to make that happen. So if you guys want a sketchbook that I myself sketch in, there's a link for that in there. And here's fantastic news. We are almost to 2,000 subscribers, and we are super close to our 4,000 hour mark of monetizing this show, which will then allow, again, for us to do things like go on remote reports and do other really great things. So please put your suggestions in the comments. Check out the thing. I've been your host, Fregaboom, comic book veteran of 28 years, Imagine Ninja and Ninjaneer. And what that is, we will show you later in the new year when we start doing Couchdoodles Doodle Dojo, where we'll have things like leg day and the torso twist. I will show you things for your right side of your brain and methods for your right side of your brain. I will show you methods for the left side of your brain. Things like perspective, things like time management, things that are very important, because being creative, getting what's in, out is a very major step. Getting in the business is another major step. Staying in the business, sustainability. That's the word of the month, the word of the year, sustainability. That is what we're aiming for. I will have all those things in the Couchdoodles Doodle Dojo portion of the show. We'll have interviews. We will have guests live. We'll have pre-recorded, all that fun stuff. But get your suggestions in there. I'm going to shut this stream down, go upstairs, have a glass of water, turn myself into a pumpkin, and be back with you guys tomorrow. So happy Saturday to you. And let me go one more time to the boombox. Latina strippers in the background. Man, I can't do that. That would generate, we are definitely not for kids. That's for sure. That is for sure. King Crow, thank you for the compliment. Please go get that Motu, please. Please definitely do that. And watch your other episodes at work. Thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that, man. There's a lot of good stuff. Check out the really old stuff, too. If you want to see what Extreme Studios looked like in the 90s, you can check that out. King Crow says, back the Sasquatch. Heck yeah, Shinobi Sasquatch. That is my favorite of the Indiegogo books out here. I love a lot of them, but that's my hands down favorite. Anyway, be great. Fregaboom.
DMC, the place to be, Frega, boom!